Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Biki. It's time for a family and friends video game overview. We had a chance to play some ARMS, and I'm coming with you guys from our perspective as friends and families playing together with little kids to older gamers, what we thought of what we've played off ARMS. Is it something we're going to be getting on day one? Is it something that your family would like on day one? Well, let's talk about the music, the sound effects, the interface, the controls, the graphics, the gameplay modes, and of course the core back and forth gameplay of ARMS. What did we think? Well, let's get right into it. Let's start it off with the music. Overall, the music in ARMS for my family has been meh. It's not bad music. It fits the game, in fact. But comparing it to other Nintendo games like Mario Kart or even their new IP like Splatoon, those music are memorable, even iconic. But that's not what we were hearing from ARMS, unfortunately. It fits the game, maybe you guys will like it, and this is where it comes down to personal taste. If you like the music in ARMS, that's perfectly fine. We didn't find it as great as anything in Mario Kart, Splatoon, or any of the Nintendo's other IPs. It just was an underwhelming experience for our ears. Now then, there is the sound effects. The sound effects, on the other hand, were absolutely excellent. The impact of each hit really made you want to go in there and do some damage, especially the sound effect that happens when you do a super move. Ooh, does that pump you up and want to win the match? So I definitely want to give Nintendo really great credit on their sound effect work for ARMS so far. Let's talk about the menu interface. For me, it was very unpleasing to look at. In my opinion, they did not have that great sense of visual style normally from Nintendo's big games. That is not to say that the menus were not usable. Even to the fact that you were able to press a button and get into a little practice mode between loading into matches was a great little feature. Being able to select different arms was very easy to understand and easy to do. So in that sense, the menu does what it needs to do, but visually I think it looks pretty bad. Now, that's my personal opinion here. The kids didn't really have any problems with the way the menus look, so that's, I guess, is once again a personal taste. Does it work? Yes. Does it look great? Not really. So we'll just move on from there into controls. Players that master the motion controls might end up doing very well in this game. It really does allow you to feel the rhythm of the punches and really get into the movement of blocking and attacking for ARMS. And from my experience while having little kids play this game, the best option for anybody under the age will be probably playing with motion controls. It's very easy for them to pick up the little kids and start playing this game. However, I do feel that most longtime fighting games fans who are older like myself will want to use a pro controller to play this title. This is where I'm gonna give Nintendo some big props though, because they are allowing gamers to play with the controls that they prefer. They do not split up the player base from anybody who uses motion controls or who uses the Pro controller or any other controller out there. They're putting all of us as gamers together and allowing us to play the same exact game. So that is a good move from Nintendo. Overall, the controls are perfectly fine in ARMS. Let's talk about one of the most controversial topics with all video games these days. Graphics. And part of graphics comes frame rate. So I'll start on with frame rate. For me, overall, the frame rate felt very stable while playing online. I'm actually not 100% sure exactly what the frame rate is, but when you're doing a 1 versus 1, 2 versus 2, the volleyball, it felt pretty good. The only time that I felt kind of different was when I was playing in the 4v4 mode, where it was like, well, anytime it was like in the 4v4 or the 1v1, it felt stable and it was enough to play the game. I just definitely could tell that there was something different between when one person's on the screen and there's 4 people on the screen. I'm gonna have to look up on the see what that really was, but I just wanted to point that out as somebody who is an older gamer. Now we have something I think is even more important to talk about, the actual visual look of the game, because, and I know this is controversial, people always think frame rate's more important, especially when it comes to like PC games, but this is one of those times I'm gonna say visuals matter. Because this is where I'm just super underwhelmed because of two weird things. I think the character models in ARMS look absolutely amazing. They look great. The art style, the effort that Nintendo put in to make the characters individual and cool, and each individual arm, there's so many different variations, all look pretty excellent. And that really shows in the game. Then there is unfortunately the environments. The environments in ARMS look really underwhelming. They're not really that great artistic. They're not really stand out. This is something that was similar to me when I was talking about the music. It really doesn't feel like something that Nintendo would do when you compare it to Smash Brothers, Mario Kart, or any other big, even Splatoon. The environments in many Nintendo games are like a story of their own and really come to life. I did not feel that with ARMS. It really wasn't that something that was visually entertaining or visually impressive, even from a graphical standpoint when it comes to actual like jagged edges. Everything just seemed like all the power was put into making the characters look great, and they didn't put as much effort into making the stage look as crisp. I'll even say at times the stage looked kind of blurry to me. I'm like, oh, this doesn't look that great. Now, this is my opinion here, guys, and my friend's opinion as well, who play the game. Once again, the kids didn't really say much about the graphics, so this is why, again, the older guys' perspective on this one. Let's move on to the game modes and get away from graphics. It's a little controversial here, but like I said, I think the characters look good. Environments are bad. I'll say that right straight up. I'm just be like, it's bad to me. Share your own opinion, though. Now, let's quickly in general talk about some of the modes before we get into the core gameplay. My personal favorite was the volleyball mode. It was an amazingly fun thing that I didn't expect from ARMS. Being able to hit this ball back and forth either solo or with a friend was absolutely fun. I know some gamers will probably consider this a mini game. In fact, when I was playing with the kids, they weren't really into the volleyball mode as much as they were with the core fighter. And I do expect a lot of gamers to want to play the core fighting modes and more or less playing volleyball. As somebody who's a fan of volleyball, I thought it was kind of fun. Let's move on from that one though. Next up, let's talk about the Battle Royale 4 versus everybody. Basically, 4 people enter a ring and everybody fights against each other. This is absolutely great. I think this is an excellent thing that Nintendo is able to finally do on their consoles. A 3D fighter where everybody's online and they're battling each other at once. That is really cool, and I actually think this is one of the highlights of the game, and it's my second favorite thing to do. 4 people enter, 1 person wins. Think that's really cool. Next up, let's talk about my most hated mode. And I seriously, dude, seriously here, I hated this. This is a 2v2 mode where 2 characters are linked together and you need to work as teammates to win the match. Now, first of all, let's say what the kids thought. The kids thought this was a great mode when they were playing together on couch co-op versus people online. You get to communicate, they try to talk to each other, one person grabs, one person's punching, I'm gonna use my super, whatever. You know how little kids communicate, or anybody who's next to each other. That's absolutely excellent. Why do I hate this mode? Well, I'm not going to always have somebody to play with when I play this game. Of course, I'm going to be matched up with random people online, and play with random people is completely useless in trying to make a strategy, because in the Nintendo console, this game has no voice chat currently, so it made it hard to be able to communicate and work with your teammate to tell them like, hey, I'm gonna try to go for a grab, this is a good time to use your super, and without being able to communicate with this partner that you're linked to, it's not gonna really work out. And I was really disappointed by this, and this is just something like, I just think this mode is not going to be great until Nintendo has their whole entire voice chat party system interface in place to make this really shine. I think being able to work with somebody, couch co-op and go online, could have really big advantages compared to people who not being able to talk to each other. This is one of those times where I'm going to be like, yeah, it's an interesting concept, but if you can't communicate with the people that you're playing with, it's not going to be able to work. So, that out of the way, let's talk about the 1v1. It's what you expect. 2 players enter the ring, 1 player comes out the winner. This is what most people are probably going to be playing. This is what you're going to be playing when you play the rank mode once the game officially releases. So 1v1, standard, it's fun. It's a good way to learn the basics of the game, learn different characters because you only have 1 opponent to deal with. My favorite though overall of the modes is definitely volleyball and what I'm calling the Battle Royale. 4 people enter, 1 person exit the winner. Alright, with all that stuff out of the way, it's finally time we talk about the gameplay. In the end, gameplay is king for Nintendo games, and that is where ARMS can win over some potential fans. The core punch-in feels good whether you're using motion controls, Joy-Con, or Pro Controller. The grab system is very easy to pull off, and it's something that players can counter and expect, so it's very nice to be able to see this back and forth with the grappling in the game. There are ways to dash forward to get in close to your foe. It feels a little wonky, but is doable. Overall, I'll say the way characters moves in ARMS is something players are going to really have to get used to. I can see some people liking it and other people completely hate it, and it might be a reason why they won't play the game. Movement in ARMS is weird and people are gonna have to get used to it, and it's gonna be something that's gonna be very decisive. Either you like the way ARMS characters move around or you hate it, and that's gonna be a big decision on people keep playing ARMS. Let's talk about another system that's really easy to pull off, the blocking system. It's pretty simple to block in this game, and it's really fun when you do it and you block like some attack from a super or something that can really messes you up. And talking about the super moves, they really pack a punch, and they do have some visual and sound effect flair that definitely adds to the gameplay. And jumping can be a very useful tactic in avoiding attacks and catching your opponents off guard from above. I will definitely recommend any players trying this game, try some air combat out. And there's also bomb and healing items that will drop in the arena during 2v2 modes, which adds a little extra to the match when it does happen. The core back and forth of blocking, attacking, grappling, and jumping while waiting for your opponent's super moves feels good, but it does come with an issue for me and the kids. It got old fast. Yes, guys, all this stuff, as cool as it is, actually got old. And I'm going to be talking about more of it right now. Let's explain. This is where it's very complicated. Nintendo has done something amazing by allowing a very great amount of customization with each character's unlocking different arms and putting them in different combination. These arms have a variety of different abilities that can be combined to make some really cool combos. And I have to give Nintendo the credit. The ability to customize these things together and make these different laser arm or a big punching arm or curving arm and all these things combination really is a good gameplay system. It's a great idea, and on top of that, the characters have their own abilities, which adds another layer to this very interesting system. Now, trying to get all these different combos on our first go was very much fun, but in the end, it got old very quickly for me and the kids. After a while, you will find some arms that you just like playing with, and once we got to that point, it was like, okay, that's enough. We're gonna use these arms, and then we're gonna jump around, use our super move, and attack. But after a while, we're like, this is not really all that exciting to us. It's not as exciting as Mario Kart, it's not as exciting as Smash Brothers. It just didn't feel as great as all those other Nintendo new IPs, great hit games. There was just something that's missing here to make us feel like this is going to be the longevity of a title. It has the online modes there we could play. It has single player versus. It doesn't have a story mode. It does have a Grand Prix, but we got bored after a while. Like we said, combos of arms, characters are really interesting, but eventually you will find something you want to use, and once that happens, it might get stale for you after a while. ARMS, once it releases, will have a price tag of $59.99, and these kids know the cost of new games, and right now the kids want me to save them money for another Nintendo Switch title. In the end, ARMS is missing the hook for my family. Maybe yours will find it. Let me know in the comments section below. That has been my family and friends opinion review of ARMS. It just hasn't grabbed us in the long run. Too bad. Got him. Oh, we knocked that one. We got this, Elijah. We got this. It's me and you. Oh, good job. We won. I'm a little happy about winning, just a little bit.
I tried to pull one.
Yeah. Yeah, I play better with a controller. Way better. Way better. You know what? Nintendo would hate me to say this. If this was a free-to-play title and just had some type of microtransaction or DLC thing that you could like cosmetics, I would probably play this with them every now and then. I don't want to spend over $50, $60 for this game. I don't. No story mode. No. This is something I would fall off playing for very quickly.